Hi, and welcome to my channel. My name is Chrissy Hodges, advocate for OCD, in particular pure OCD, which is also the name of my memoir, The Invisible Side of Obsessive Compulsive Disorder. Today, I want to talk about something that I've done several videos on, but it's always worth emphasizing. And just so you know, your OCD is going to argue with almost everything that I have to say today. So just get prepared for that. But I think it's a really important topic to talk about compulsions and what they really are and why it is not acting on your thoughts, which is what sometimes your OCD will tell you it actually is. I am a certified peer support specialist working with people all over the world to provide support one-on-one with 8-week closed groups through my practice so you can meet other people and talk about recovery topics and get support. And I also have an online community. In that community, we have weekly support one-on-one and groups. I run events and classes every month to help you learn a little bit more about your experience with OCD and see that you are just the same as everybody else because we get to talk to other people around the world who are in the community. And we really do find that connection in really normalizing what we experience with OCD. Also, NoCD, and OCD is an app, and inside that app, you can create connections, meet other people, talk on forums, but they also do telehealth through ERP in many places in the world. So check them out at treatmyocd.com or nocd.com. So let's get into this topic that I know you're going to argue with me about, that you are the exception. This comes up so much. I've done lots of videos on this in regards to how you may feel like because you tested and checked with something that is you acting on the thoughts. And now you think, now that I've acted on the thoughts, that means it might not be OCD. That means I'm a deviant. That means I don't deserve anything. I can't believe I did that. I can never get over this. What am I talking about? So testing and checking. This is a compulsion. Now, when you test and check, when you have physical compulsions, you can see yourself doing these things, right? I'm going to test and I'm going to check the doorknob, the water faucet, things like that. I'm physically seeing myself testing and checking these. When you have pure OCD, which is the community name for individuals with intrusive thoughts and mental rituals, the mental ritual part it's mental. So you're testing and checking in your mind, right? So an example of this might be if you're having sexual orientation OCD, is that you might observe a female and observe a male all while body scanning. Which one do I feel attraction to? Which one do I feel arousal to? Right? So this is testing and checking. You're looking for proof or disproof that you're attracted to male or female. Okay? And the proof is, how does my body react? Do I feel anxiety? Do I feel disgust? Not that either men or females are gross, but I'm just saying, like, sometimes you use your emotions to try to prove or disprove something, right? So I might feel repulsed. And so these feelings sometimes can feel like proof, like, okay, good, I had this feeling. And so therefore I'm not attracted. Or you may observe and then body scan and now you felt arousal. You felt excitement. You felt butterflies. You may have the groinal, and then that can be concerning to you. Is this proof? Is this proof that I am attracted, or not? So this is something that a lot of people do with sexual intrusive thoughts, violent intrusive thoughts. They may test or check. I'm going to pick up a knife around my partner and see if I have an urge, see if it feels like I could be capable of doing this, right? So this is testing and checking. But what someone with violent intrusive thoughts might think is, oh my gosh, I just put my partner in danger. I just put my family member in danger by picking up a knife, picking up poison, picking up a hammer. And what if I lost control and did it? That means I am capable of acting on my thoughts. Okay, logically, I mean, we're all capable of acting on anything, right? But what you are doing is testing and checking. That's what you're doing. You're body scanning. You're seeing how you feel. You're you're testing and checking to see if you're capable, right? So it's so important for you to see. You will skip over the act of the compulsion, which is the test and check, which is the motivation, and only see, oh my gosh, I acted on this. It's possible I could do it, or this is the first step to me actually doing it. So, in sexual intrusive thoughts, same thing could happen. Let's say you have POCD, right? And so you might test and check. I'm going to my nieces and nephews' party. I'm going to pick them up and see how and hug them and see how I feel. Avoidance also, not picking them up and hugging them would also be a compulsion. The motivation is to test and check the compulsion, prove or disprove. Whenever people are testing and checking, what they're doing is looking to see, okay, my body is complying, my mind is complying. This means I am not a pedo, right? That's what this means. You're not doing it from a motivation of desire. You're not doing it from a motivation of wanting it. That makes OCD ego dystonic. It is not aligned with who we are. It's not aligned with what our wants and desires. Ego-syntonic is the opposite. Now, if you have tested and checked a really long time, you're going to become confused. Your arousal non you'll have arousal non-concordance, which is the groinal, right? And if you have told your body and mind, if you test and check so much over and over and over to all these different things, your body and your mind don't know anymore. Like it has no idea what it is supposed to feel arousal towards. So that's when you start to feel saturated with arousal all the time. And it's usually pretty extreme. You're feeling it pretty because your body is going, well, maybe you're aroused by this, maybe you're aroused, you're not, you are. So but when I went into therapy, I've said this many times. But by the time I got into therapy, I had tested and checked for sexual orientation OCD so much I was aroused by everything. So then it's just then it became this feeling of, oh no, I now I'm aroused by everything. I can't pinpoint anything. So this must mean it's the first stages of acceptance, which is what a lot of people go through. But I want to stay focused on this. It is the testing and checking compulsion that when you are doing this, as much as you're doing it, and constantly you're even doing it before you even think that you're doing it. Sometimes it's not even intentional. You will often get confused of why did I do that? This must mean I'm acting on it. Why would I genuinely seek out the opportunity to look at something and see if I'm aroused or not? Maybe I actually want this now. What if I am turning into this now? These are all common things for people to think when they are testing and checking, when they've done it so much that it's now confusing to them. Here's what I want to say about this, and this is what your OCD and you are going to argue back with me about. The motivation is to prove or disprove. The motivation is the test or the check. The motivation is not to act. And that's where you're getting confused, right? The functionality of it is I am testing and checking, which is I'm trying to prove or disprove that these fears, these threats are real or not. And you're so scared they are, but you want to prove that they're not. It is compulsive. You are going to think it's not compulsive anymore because I'm seeking it out. And that way, that means I must be acting on it, which could be the next step of me accepting that this is reality. No, it is a compulsion because it's a test or check. It doesn't matter if you even intentionally tested or checked, right? Because eventually our compulsions just come naturally. We don't even think about it. It just becomes kind of the way of life, right? So that's where you're going to get confused. But I did this without thinking about it. So my intention must be that I wanted it. That's the confusion. And that becomes obsessive. And at the end of the day, it's always been a compulsion. And you just have to double down and believe that in order to have the motivation to do the treatment and to get support and help. Because your brain is going to twist it and say, no, now you're intentionally doing it. You're acting on it. So this must be you accepting it. This is a trick and this is a trap that a lot of people get stuck in. Testing and checking is a compulsion, regardless of what your brain is going to tell you it is now, because of how often you do it, because of how you did it, or because of how you felt after you did it. All these things can change. All of these things can feel differently every time you do it, but you're still testing and checking to try to get answers. The motivation behind it is to try to get answers. So that means it is OCD because it's compulsive. Your brain's going to tell you differently, and it's probably telling you differently right now. I'm the exception. I really want it. I think I'm starting to accept this, but that's part of it. The longer you do it, the longer the compulsions are not going to work the way they used to. And therefore, you're going to move on to the big fears of, oh no, this isn't OCD. This must be real. Or I acted on this and I feel so much shame and I can't live with myself after acting on it. You didn't act on it. You performed compulsions. Yes, compulsions can bring shame too, and they can make you feel like you don't deserve or you're not worthy. But this is all part of OCD. And I'm going to remind you this happened to you. You did not cause it. It happened to you. Let that be your motivation for getting support. Let that be your motivation for getting help. When you are at this stage and you are constantly stuck on the feeling that you've acted on it, that's when you need to reach out because you need to know that this is really common and you're not the only one that's going through this. So if you're looking for a community of people who get it, for support, please check out the link in my description and come join us whenever you need it. We are here for you when you need that support. Reach out to me if you need help and peer support as well. You'll find my website and everything down in the description. I hope this helped.